Hello again, this is Victor James, author of The Megacosm, and I remember a few years ago a study came out and women were surprised that men spent so much time thinking about the Roman Empire. And according to research, men are attracted to that overt masculinity of the Roman Empire that conquered their enemies, invented such wonders as the aqueducts, along with marveling at its grand architecture and structure. So I bet women also will be surprised how much time men fantasize about putting themselves in dangerous situations. We often wonder if we have what it takes to survive on desert islands or to be lost at sea. We even fantasize about how we would clean up the streets if we became vigilantes, or if we would survive the storming of Normandy. So Judgment Night is a movie that answers if four men can survive the desolate Chicago streets after witnessing a murder by a vicious gang who relentlessly hunts them down. And I seriously can't be the only male who's ever contemplated a situation like Judgment Night. Boasting an all-star cast of Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Stephen Dorff, and Jeremy Piven, the movie's about four lifelong friends who finally found time to spend one night out at a boxing match. Estevez portrays the main protagonist, Frank Wyatt, a man who has left the city behind and settled down in the suburbs with a wife and newborn child. And his best friends Ray and Mike, played by Piven and Cuba, are a wife's worst nightmare. They are still stuck in their college phase and are excited to pull their married friend out for the night. Stephen Dorff plays John, Frank's hot-headed little brother who joins the trio as a last-minute fill-in when their Frank Dennis couldn't make it. Judgment Night spends a good portion of the first act setting up each character and where they were in that part of their lives. It is really insinuated that Frank was a tough guy in his past when his brother picks a fight while stuck in traffic. Instead of jumping in though, Frank breaks up the fight and chastises John to basically grow up and mature. Frank left his troubled past behind to be a better father and a husband, and I feel like maturity is an underlying theme on Judgment Night. We see that Ray is a corporate man who is more consumed with his quest for status, luxury, and wealth, while Mike, who mocks Frank for going soft, is kind of a grown-up frat boy who's more interested in partying and chasing women than maturing and settling down. So it's really an eclectic group of men who are thrust into a dangerous situation none of them are prepared for. When Ray takes a detour to get out of traffic and make it to the fight on time, the route takes him to a seedy and desolate part of town. So basically Chicago. The men drink and party while watching the preliminary fights on satellite dish until they become hopelessly lost. Ray becomes distracted looking for a map, remember maps, and accidentally hits a man named Ted who really just came out of nowhere. To the group's credit, all but Ray try and aid Ted even when they realize he was shot and carried a bag of bloody money. Ted is frantic and begs for help, which prompts the group to search for a way out of the labyrinth-like streets, and this is when the movie takes a dangerous turn and starts asking the question, are you man enough? MTV alum Dennis Leary plays Fallon, a gang leader who pursues Ted because he stole his money. After their vehicles are incapacitated by Fallon and his gang, Frank's group can only watch helplessly as Fallon callously executes Ted in cold blood. And that act sets the entire plot of Judgment Night in motion. Fallon lives by strict rules. One is to not steal from him, and another is to not leave any witnesses. This forces Frank and his friends to flee into the city while Fallon and his hardened men give chase. Each man in Frank's group has their mettle tested as Fallon is relentless in his pursuit and they struggle to find help in that section of the city. Judgment Night is a study in male bravado, cowardice, and lifestyle choices as previously tough guy John begins to crack under the pressure while Ray's posh condition makes him more of a burden than an asset. Frank actually becomes the backbone of the group as he's the one the most to lose with the wife and newborn waiting for him at home. And this is a great plot device as it is that love of his family that becomes Frank's strength. He is the most determined to survive that night that keeps getting darker and more dangerous as the men flee through larcenous vagrants and gang control projects in the dead of the night. The movie even deftly touches on how modern comforts have made men naive and soft. When the group has finally found someone who is willing to help and they actually can contact the police, Ray is shocked to find that the police refuse to go to that particular neighborhood. After waiting for over 10 minutes with no response, Ray even turns the one weapon they do have against his friends because he can't face the reality of the dangerous situation they were in. The circumstances that night test the fortitude of the four men, and they all have to face what adversity have proven them to be, and they don't like what they see. Also, Fallon is an interesting antagonist as he endlessly pursues these men throughout the desolate streets. This is not just for his strict rules though. Fallon is insulted by these men's presence. He abhors the suburban elegance and intrusion into his business as they flee through the grime and streets that he feels belong to him. There's actually a very poignant scene where Ray tries to negotiate the life of his friends and we see Fallon lose his cool for the first time in the movie. It is apparent that he seeks to kill these men not just because of the rules, but for their audacity to enter his sphere of influence. So Judgment Night is a fun movie to watch because it reflects about how most men will react if they were put in their life and death situation, including me. Suppose the tough guys will crumble, others will wilt, while even more would outright crack from the intense pressure. And we all like to believe we would be the Frank of the group, but Judgment Night is telling the audience that is not the case, which makes it an awesome movie to watch. This of course will have men fantasizing about what they need to do to become Roman strong as Frank, which begins with the strength of the nuclear family, which gives Frank his will to survive. And this has actually become a very toxic message in modern America. In modern America, there seems to be a war against the nuclear family, but Judgment is that one rare movie that actually says you need that modern family to survive a night of hell. Tell me in the comments below, did you watch Judgment Night and did you like it? And did you pick up on the same things that I have, or was it just a movie about 4 guys lost in the city trying to survive? Let me know in the comments below. And I want to remind you about my website, themegacosm.com. Here you can buy my first book in the Megacosm called Fiasco Adventures. And it's also the second book, a novelette called The Mark, that's available for digital for 99 cents. And also a reminder that my book, The Eureka Me, the third book in the Megacosm, is arriving May 8th. I'm really excited about people to read this. I'm actually so excited that I actually have the first chapter of The Eureka Me available for free on the website. So you can go ahead and read the first chapter of The Eureka Me to see if you actually want to buy the book before it comes out on May 8th. And another announcement I want to say is that I'm actually selling merch now. So on my megacosm.com store, you can actually buy the Fiasco Adventure logo shirt and a baby onesie with the Fiasco logo on it. And you can also buy my imprint logo t-shirt. And I got them as cheap as I could, which is $20.44. Don't know where the 44 cents came from, but that's as cheap as I can get it. And I hope you enjoy it. I bought a couple myself and they feel great. So go to themegacosm.com, you can sign up. And I will have having discounts for people who sign up. But you can also buy my books there, and it's all a one-stop shop. And you can read my short stories like The Eureka Me free. But that's all I gotta say about this. God bless you and keep you. That's it, I'm done.